The worst AI you're ever going to use is right now, right? Technology is changing at such a rapid pace that it's just going to be even harder to decipher fact from fiction.
Back on Closer Look on this Monday with Michael Friscolani, our editor-in-chief here at Village Media. I'm Scott Sexsmith, Derek Turner at the controls, as always this evening. Okay, I've had enough of winter.
I know.
4 times this weekend I had to snowblow.
Really?
I did, yeah. I'm sick of it.
Did you help your neighbors out at least?
I do a little bit, you know.
So you didn't?
That's
all right. Anyways, okay.
Okay, so left the studio Friday night. Thought, stop at the LCBO, get a little treat for the weekend. Mm-hmm. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice if you could just get a bottle of California Red?
Yes.
And then maybe help out a good cause at the same time. Got me thinking about the show, what we talked about.
I keep thinking about that, to be honest, because it's just the rationale, just because so many other provinces are doing it. Just to remind everybody, some provinces have announced that they're going to sell the stock of U.S. booze that they pulled off the shelf when the trade war started. Some are going to just sell it like usual and keep the profits as they would anything else they sell. And some are going to donate the money to charity so that, and as, Tom Cooper from Memorial University told us, the boycott's working. We haven't bought new booze from the United States in months.
No.
But yeah, I mean, there's got to be a way to use this and almost make us look good, right? So even if you sold it for, 25% more and said to people that 25% that's going to go to charity and the rest is going to come back, I think people would rally around that.
Yeah.
It just seems like a waste that it's sitting there doing nothing. And to be honest, I mean, I'm all for patriotism and all that stuff, but I wouldn't mind having a bourbon over Christmas.
Sure, absolutely.
Maybe a couple.
Yeah, I hear you.
Anyways.
And Doug Ford, frankly, would look like a hero, I think, if he did that. Yeah. And wrapped some charitable angle around it.
If you told Ontarians your favorite bottle of American alcohol, you can buy it for 33% more, 30% more, and that chunk's going to go to charity, people would line up.
Of course they would.
Because they miss that particular thing, like you said, whether it's a bottle of red.
Yeah.
And if it's going to go to charity, I think you'd see that you'd quickly empty those warehouses.
Derek Turner, front of the line for a big bottle of bread and butter, guaranteed.
Right. He's got to get something nice for Joe Bowen's retirement ceremony on Tuesday. Eh?
Yes, that's exciting.
I hope you get a mention, Derek. I would like to thank everybody, especially Derek Turner.
Okay, it is that time of the year. Sadly, and we're going to talk about this tonight, what comes at this time of the year. A lot of scammers and fraudsters, and they're back at it with gift cards this time.
Gift cards. So you're seeing so many headlines. I have all these papers in front of me because I've printed out different news articles. And I'm not going to keep track of it.
The information is just
it's all a
over
scam,
the place.
all these papers. But yeah, gift cards, there's lots of scams relating to gift cards.
Right.
So we're going to speak to an expert tonight about sort of how these are working and why police are seeing more of them.
We've officially hit crunch time in the holiday shopping season, and if you're one of the many people out there trying to check everyone off your list, you've no doubt purchased a gift card or two, but be careful what you buy. Like so many other things, fraudsters have figured out a way to scam your gift cards too, and here to help us explain is Ritesh Kotek, a lawyer and cybercrime expert who has some timely advice for holiday shoppers. Ritesh, thanks so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, Ritesh, we've got a lot of questions, but can you first tell us a bit about yourself and your experience?
Sure, yeah. Where do I begin? I'm still trying to figure out what I do. It's been a roller coaster.
Just don't scam us. How do you tell us the truth? Don't defraud.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Right.
Absolutely. So actually, I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. My parents were business owners. They're still a business they own today in food manufacturing out in Toronto. And that's kind of where I got my start. My crib was in the store. And what that did was, look, you are the IT, you are the accountant, you are the retailer, you are the the salesperson. You're wearing all these different hats, and that's the environment I grew up in. I always thought I was going to become an accountant and work in the family business, but I actually ended up joining the police service. Ended up spending 7 years, about 7 years with 2 different police services in Canada, and most of my work revolved around computer crimes and cyber crimes, and I was kind of on the cusp of looking at cyber crime and cybersecurity from an investigative standpoint. It's just it was new, uncharted territory, and I was kind of right place, right time. Created a lot of opportunities. Got to travel the world, helping other countries develop their cyber crime strategies, and had a lot of fun. Left there, traveled the world, ended up working in big tech for 2 years, and then I decided I kind of want to be a lawyer. And there was a lot of pivotal moments in my career, but there was one where there were a lot of individuals that were just getting scammed and being victimized and dealing with online harassment, and there was nothing they could do about it. And I remember calling up a lawyer trying to figure out, okay, how do we navigate this space? And they're like, well, I'm a tech lawyer. And I was like, yes, and this is a tech issue. And they're like, no, I'm tech. I do IP, intellectual property. I was like, okay. They're like, you need a criminal defense lawyer. And I was trying to help out someone who's being harassed and victimized online. And I was like, okay, sure. So I called a criminal defense lawyer. They're like, oh, no, that's a civil matter. You need a civil litigator. And I called a civil litigator. And they're like, yeah, I've never dealt with this before. You need someone who specializes in defamation. And it just kept going on. And I was like, you know what? I think there's a real gap here. I think people are being victimized. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go to law school, and became a lawyer. And I've been working in this space ever since.
That's great. Great story, Ritesh. Okay, I can't count how many times on this show we've talked about fraud. It's definitely a favorite topic of ours, mostly because the latest emerging tactic is just so brazen. And now I have to worry about my gift cards getting scammed. Let's start with what's the most common scam out there, Ritesh, when it comes to gift cards.
The most common scam that we are seeing, and again, a lot of this high-tech crime has a lot of low-tech ways of going about dealing with it. And, this is the modern-day Grinch, is what they're doing is they're going in and they're finding legitimate gift cards, and they're printing barcodes on the gift card, and they're sticking it on the back of these packages. What happens there? Well, think about it. You pick up a gift card from your favorite retailer. You go to the counter, and what do they ask you? How much money would you like to put on it? Do you want to put $10, $50, $100, $1,000? And you're like, you know what? I'll put $100. Okay, great. They scan it, and they put $100 to that card. The thing is that you think you're putting it on the gift card that you just picked up, but in actuality, the code on it that's been replaced is for another legitimate gift card that this fraudster ended up purchasing, mirrored the barcode, and you're actually putting money into their account. And once they're able to get money into that account, they can do a few things. They can sell those gift cards online at a reduced price. They can go out and purchase goods and resell those goods. And the list goes on, and people are being defrauded thousands of dollars, and it's just a huge problem. And that's one of the most common gift card scams that I'm seeing.
It's crazy. I think we just saw an example of that in Hamilton this week, where the police arrested a guy. Allegedly, he was in the store kind of secretly putting these stickers on the barcodes, right? And then when they busted him. When you see that happening, Ritesh, is it typically someone on the low end of an organized group that's sent in to put the stickers on, or is it just one guy doing all this work?
There's been lone wolves that have just gone out and kind of these standalone fraudsters that have figured out ways of weaponizing the system, and all the way up to organized crime, where individuals that are obviously there's a hierarchy in those within those organizations, but a lot more sophisticated, a lot more resources, even harder to decipher fact from fiction, and using it very targeted to defraud Canadians.
It's true. I think I've also seen examples where people who they shouldn't do this, they actually post a photo of their gift card online and say, oh, look, I got a gift card. But people can steal the barcode, right, and just use that as a self-checkout. Is that right?
Yeah, so there's free software online. It's very cheap to get barcode printing software. Again, the last thing I want to do is create a how-to guide on the podcast. And
that's really what we're trying to do here, Ritesh.
I know you've opened up this can of worms, but look, it's important that we understand the mechanisms that go on. And again, I talked about it right from the beginning. It may seem sophisticated. In some cases, it's not. Being able to manipulate a barcode or copy a barcode and print it, there is free software out there, and you don't actually have to get a label printer. You can literally just get it print it on a piece of paper, walk into a store and say, here's my gift card, scan it. And unfortunately, unless the individual's trained, ask the right questions, which they never do. It's never happened to me when I've paid with a gift card. Well, where did you buy this gift card? You know, how much should be on it? From which location? You don't get asked those questions. They just scan it and say, oh yeah, you have $50 on this gift card. You want to apply all of it towards this purchase? And you're like, sure. And voila, you're out of there. And it's literally that simple.
Ritesh, any stats on how often this is happening, and in terms of dollars lost, what's the number?
We're definitely talking millions of dollars that have been lost. We don't have the exact stats, and the reason for that is there's lack of reporting. A lot of people, when they do get victimized, may not report it to law enforcement. They'll just report it to the retailer, because at the end of the day, they don't want to see someone get arrested. They just want to get their money back. However, we know that this is a growing problem, and there's actually a push right now for legislation where it makes reporting mandatory. In fact, the Canadian government is expected to announce a new financial crimes agency in April of 2026. And the whole idea around that is getting all these resources together, because there is no legal obligation right now for the retailer to actually report it to the police, for the credit card company to report it to the police as well. So my point being, we know about hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars of fraud that Canadians are impacted by. That number is significantly and grossly underreported.
Yeah, we know that too from speaking to previous experts. We even had the gentleman from the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center on here. That's usually a fraction of what is actually out there, because not everyone's reporting how they're being scammed. So I appreciate you bringing that up. I just want to look at one more example before we get into some general questions, Ritesh. The Kitchener-Waterloo Police arrested a person this week as well, and they said that they allegedly found a person concealing gift cards and replacing authentic cards with tampered ones before leaving the store. Is that the same kind of thing, or is that a different kind of scam?
The gift card companies, the companies that produce these cards have understood that, look, people are replacing the barcodes right on the outside. So they're looking at new ways and new methods, potentially adding pins and other security measures. But you actually have to open up the package.
Yes.
So there have been situations of tampering where fraudsters have been able to go out, purchase some legitimate gift cards. They go ahead and tamper them and then replace them. So you think, again, at the end of the day, you're activating legitimate gift cards, but in actuality, you're not. You're probably putting funds into the gift cards of these fraudsters and hackers when you actually go ahead and go to the counter and activate those cards. So yeah, they are becoming much more sophisticated. You're starting to see kind of the digital world and the physical world converge into this new convergent world, and that's where we're seeing fraud headed. But yeah, you're absolutely right. That these fraudsters are going into the store, physically replacing those gift cards. That's why it's very important to make sure that at the counter that the person who's actually dealing with the transaction should be trained on identifying if this is a legitimate card or not. Until we get those mechanisms in place, which we don't currently have, we're going to see more of these.
That's great.
Ritesh, what advice do you have for shoppers?
The best advice I have is when you're going out and making these purchases, use a credit card. The reason for that is your purchase may be insured, especially if you're a victim of a fraud. If you're using your debit card, good luck getting your money back. If you're using cash, even better, good luck getting your money back. Use a credit card. It's insured. There's a chargeback process that could be initiated. Physically inspect the cards for tampering. Try to see if there's any barcode that's been stuck on or any type of labeling. If anything looks off, if there's a cut or slit on the side, just be cognizant of that. And as an individual, if you're selling gift cards or you're a employer, please throughout the holiday season, just train your employees to what to look for. And finally, and I wish we would see more of this, we don't. It would be great to see these gift cards behind the counter instead of just publicly accessible where this type of fraud can occur. But until it's mandated or this problem starts becoming even bigger and more reported, we're just not going to see that.
That's a good point, because years ago they used to be behind the counter, and then somebody came up with the bright idea to put them on a carousel or at the end of an aisle in some merchandising display that anybody can grab.
Yeah, it speaks about friction, right? The less friction you have, the more you see it. It's right on the end of the aisles as well. Sometimes they're near the gift the section where you can buy those, $8, $9 birthday cards and holiday cards. I bought one the other day. It was so simplistic, and it was with taxes, it was $7.90. I was like, we got to just move to e-cards. And anyways, that's a whole other.
I know.
Nobody go to Dollarama to buy their
story.
cards anymore.
I know you see Dollarama's record profit. That's a whole other story.
That's a whole other show.
That's right. My loved ones buy their cards for sure. I've said this before, and I'll say it again, Ritesh. We definitely are living in a fraud world, and I feel like we've passed the point now where we now have to assume that everything is a scam and work your way backwards. Is that accurate?
Yeah, this whole zero trust protocol, right? Before the default was, we were starting off with an element of trust, and you're going to have to do wrong to me for me to, think otherwise. Unfortunately, that's just not the case anymore. It's, a lot of cybersecurity people say it's the zero trust protocol. That's the zero trust culture is just go on the assumption that everything is a fraud, and until you can prove otherwise, whether you can validate and verify the information, just given the sophistication and the prevalence of it, unfortunately, this is the mindset for a lot of individuals, for a lot of companies, and I don't see that changing until fraud stops, which I don't think it'll ever stop, given the jurisdictional issues, the attribution related issues, the fact that it's really, you have a very high reward and low risk when we hear about all the arrests, and I'm literally all the arrests, because it's very rare we hear about arrests that come out of it, and people are being defrauded, and governments are always sounding the alarm. This is going to be a problem. So yeah, unfortunately, we're in a society. It's zero trust.
Yeah, you put it so eloquently in a recent column on TVO Today. Technology has become a sword used by savvy scammers to harm us. We're at the point now where the deep fakes are fooling even the most tech-savvy experts, and the balance of power has shifted. How do we react to that? What's the number one thing we can do as a society, as government, to try to kind of nip this? I mean, it seems like it's beyond that point.
Education. Like, that's literally having these types of conversations. The more people that listen to the podcast, the more people that read those op-eds and talk to family members and friends that are that can provide these types of these tips. We have to inoculate ourselves from these types of frauds, and the only way to do that is going to be via education, going out, having those roundtable discussions, doing more of these podcasts. Other than that, I can't really think of anything. Yes, we can have stricter penalties. We can put rules on vendors. We can put gift cards behind the counter, but we're still going to see some of these issues. I'll share a quick story,
please.
I just delivered a keynote out in BC. I think there were like 700 people there. Phenomenal. I think that keynote went really well. And then as I finish up, I posted on LinkedIn. I get a call from a friend of mine. He's a retired police officer in the Greater Toronto area, and he calls me up and he goes, "Ritesh, I need a solid." And I said, "What's up?" He goes, "Can you come and talk to my church group on the weekend about frauds?" And I was like, "Sure, yeah. How many people are you expecting?" And he goes, 8. I was like, well, I just presented like 800. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Happy to do it. And I went, and I was in this church basement. I delivered a talk. It was funny. They all brought their iPads because they thought I was going to fix all their iPads and update it and deal with all of that. But we had a very in-depth discussion, and some of the questions they were asking, and I've been on TV, hundreds of times talking about this. I've written about it. I've done numerous podcasts, and it was until they heard it from me face to face, and I was able to have those one-on-one discussions. They're like, "Oh, now I get it. Now I understand why this is important. Okay, I will make sure that I hit that pause button. If there's a sense of urgency, I will slow it down. I'll ask, I'll call a friend." It was. I know that now those 8 people are are hopefully going to be able to think about these issues differently, behave differently as well, and hopefully not get defrauded. Putting the toothpaste back in the tube is just not possible anymore, and that's the big issue. It's like, oh, okay, I will call a credit card company. Well, these chargeback processes take forever, and sometimes you have an unsuccessful outcome. We hear about banks not refunding people as well because they're saying you're the one that gave the one-time passcode. You're the one that was in contact with the fraudster. We're seeing court cases that take years to see the light of day. So quite frankly, to me, it's education, having these conversations, doing these one-on-one talks. Education is the only answer. Everything else, great. If you're able to get your money back, fantastic. If you're able to get a remedy, amazing. But to me, the only solution to this is going to be having these types of discussions.
Yeah. It sounds like that was very successful, your visit to the basement. It makes me think that maybe the best answer to this is just have you go door to door. You start in Ontario, but then people would think you're a scammer, I think, if you keep knocking on people's doors. Yeah,
well, hopefully they're able to Google me and see a whole bunch of TV interviews and be like, okay, maybe this guy's they'll see a podcast and like, okay, he's legitimate. But you know what? That's why I'm in the summer, I'm actually thinking about getting a vehicle, wrapping it, and
love it,
and driving across the country and having these conversations with individuals in church basements, in community centers, at their local clubs, because I think that's the only solution, and I think somebody has to do it.
That would be amazing, actually. You would get a lot of coverage for that. I think that'd be a great idea because education is key. We've all have loved ones who have either been scammed or know someone who's been scammed.
Sure.
It's not like someone else over there. Yeah. Everybody has been touched by this. And it really is. It's just about learning. It's about realizing, okay, there's no panic. I don't have to rush to make this thing. If my grandkid calls me for money, it's not my grandson. I can hang up the phone. I can call my grandson and see if it's actually him. So I think people are starting to learn that. But I think you're right, my friend. I think it's going to take a long time.
Yeah, that's the only way. Sometimes that grassroots approach is probably going to be the answer. Look, we're talking about scams today, right? The thing is that especially when the best line I heard is the worst AI you're ever going to use is right now, right? Technology is changing at such a rapid pace that it's just going to be even harder to decipher fact from fiction. Clearly, that's going to be incorporated into scams, and fraudsters are going to look for ways of exploiting individuals. That's why I think building a very strong foundation, having these conversations is going to be very important, because as the scams evolve, the principle is going to be the same. Hit that pause button, validate and verify, ask a friend. That is where all these things are going to kick in. So we got to build that foundation, because as scams continue to evolve, I think the basics around preventing these types from being victimized from these scams will stay the same.
Ritesh, I should point out, we feel your pain. It's like this program. Some nights we have 800, some nights we have 8. Same thing.
Mostly 800.
I'm just kidding. Before we let you go, Ritesh, anything that we didn't cover that you'd like to mention?
No, I think we kind of covered everything. Just as the holiday seasons ramp up, I do think gift cards are phenomenal gift. Kind of takes the guesswork out of what you're going to give someone, and it's just important that you do the due diligence, inspect those cards, talk to a friend, ask the person at checkout to ensure and validate that everything is correct, and use a credit card. And other than that, I want to wish everyone a very happy holidays and all the best for 2026.
Right back at you. There's Ritesh Kotek, a lawyer and cybercrime expert. Ritesh, we appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
I don't know, maybe I don't have the bandwidth, but who thinks of this stuff?
It's insane.
I would never in a million years think, well, if I swap out this barcode and tape it to this, and oh my God.
And I'm just picturing, again, these are all allegations that have not been tested in court.
They have not been tested in court,
But I think
to be clear.
The guy in Hamilton, so he's a 51-year-old guy from Toronto. He's been arrested and accused of fraud and some other charges. Basically, he was in a store putting barcodes, sticking barcodes, probably looking around, making sure no one's watching. You're in a major retail. There's cameras everywhere. There's cameras on the floor. There's cameras.
Of course.
How do you think you could do that and no one would notice that, right? And then the one in, it's just it's mind-boggling to me, right? But we've talked about this, I don't know how many times. We've talked about all kinds. We talked about grandparent scams, romance scams.
Yep.
We've had different leading experts come on the show to talk about it. The reason they do it is because of the money that they make. That's the only the reason most people do anything.
Yeah.
And he said millions. I just looked it up. The Canadian Anti-Fraud Center reported there were reports of people losing over $6.8 million in gift card fraud last year in 2024. That's almost double the $3.8 million in reported fraud in 2021.
Jeez.
So there's money to be made. So people are doing it. But it's see, and again, stupid me, naive. I would have thought, you see those gift cards, like he said, they're all wrapped up. You gotta rip it. There's barcodes and things.
Yeah.
No one's gonna. They're foolproof. They're gonna work, and they're not. It's just as easy to scam.
So I just bought a gift card the other day.
Yeah, I told you not to get me. I told you. I said,
Who knew that a lump of coal came in the form of a gift card?
I know.
And I watched because you always want to make sure that they get the right amount, and I'll give the outlet a plug. It was a Home Depot gift card, and the cashier physically had to rip a tab off before you could access the barcode that she then had to scan and then enter the amount. So that's good practice. But if these guys, like, how are they doing that then? Right now, how are they ripping it off? Like, how is the cashier not picking up on the fact
I don't know.
that it's been tampered?
But maybe they don't all have to be ripped off. I think there's still some that you don't.
Could be, yeah.
I'm not sure, but there's still the ones where you can just easily stick that sticker.
Right.
But then you got to go print off where you
So much work, man.
You're copying the barcode on the one you've got, and so every time you're sitting at home watching your online account, and someone actually $100, $50.
Yeah, I know.
And then, like he said, you could go buy other stuff, resell it. It's the same guys doing this that stole the $1 million worth of booze.
Just get a job, man. It's so much easier. Really.
I hate to sound
Get a job, pay some taxes.
but it's true, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and but we'll end it there, Scott.
We will end it there. And I did not get you a gift card for Christmas. Just
That's right.
to be clear.
Cash.
I also didn't get you any bourbon or California wine.
But I would buy you a bottle. I will buy you a bottle of bourbon. I've recorded it here.
Yes.
If they announce that before Christmas.
So Premier Ford, if you're watching, and we know you're a fan of the show, we've made a promise to one another. So
Yeah, make it happen.
let's do it. Tonight's show, as always, produced by Derek Turner. For Michael Friscolanti, our editor-in-chief here at Village Media, I'm Scott Sexsmith. Thanks for watching tonight, and we'll see you tomorrow night at 7 right here on Closer Look.
Frisco and Scott's wardrobe provided in part by Moores, Sault Ste. Marie.